Interior design is more than just a creative and intuitive process. Like all good design, the practice is rooted in a set of basic yet practical principles, the ultimate goal being balance and cohesion. Now let's take a look at a home by Lisa Swart that tells the perfect design story through mixing bold styles and colors.
Minimalism has surely dominated the interior design space, and often designers have to find unique ways of enhancing and elevating the minimalistic designs that their clients want.
So when I design a home, or anyone really, when you design a home, it is like telling a story. And you are telling the story of the home and the people that live in it. And I find that each room is almost like a different chapter. And so just as you tell a story, you kind of have the same feel throughout the book, but just different chapters saying it sort of differently, and then also according to what happens in each room. This client contacted me and he wanted a sort of more, I think, like a mature kind of space, but also minimal. And he doesn't like clutter. And I had to redesign the whole thing from scratch. I got rid of all his old furniture, brought in new furniture, but keeping in mind the whole time that he wanted a space that's minimal. My guiding principle is always form follows function. There are areas in this house that are not particularly rooms, so they're not divided by walls. So then you have to think, okay, what can this area be? So like the little reading nook, we decided, all right, so because it's a kind of in-between space, so I put the two chairs and made it into a comfy reading nook. Also, keeping in mind that he wants a minimalist space. And then there is what I call happy accidents. So I ordered a piece of black and white art and the wrong size arrived. It was supposed to be way smaller than what it is, and it was supposed to go in the bedroom next to the other black and white art. And I looked at it and I thought, should I send it back? And I decided no. And then I found the perfect wall for it in kind of uniting the living room with the reading nook, and it worked perfectly. In the lounge, we opted to go for light colors and natural elements. To give it a bit of warmth and give it a bit of character, I'm bringing in natural elements like the wicker and the wood. So we did an acoustic panel behind the TV in wood, and then the lamp, and it's an oversized lamp, so it makes it a little bit more interesting. And then there's a wallpaper as well. So the wallpaper is almost sort of barely there, but it has a texture. And then that also creates a bit of warmth while being minimalist at the same time. And then just to add to the minimalist theme, the art is also abstract and just plain black and white. In the dining room, we used the only element that we kept that belonged to the client, which is the key lamp. And that kind of informed the mood of the dining room. So I went a little bit darker in the dining room just to sort of create a backdrop for dinner parties and things. And it's in the same space as the living room, but it actually demarcates that area quite well. The study was probably the most difficult space in the whole project because it has two doors. It's a very narrow rectangle, and I had to position the desk sort of off center, but I think it worked out eventually. We also brought in some plant and art on the walls. For the storage, we used, again, the natural element gets pulled through from the living room and the other areas where I used it. We kept it minimal by not putting handles. All the doors are pushed to open. Also, I put it at the angle that it is in the corner because of the size of the room and of the shape of the room. So everything is kind of off center.
There are two details that exist as a continuous thread throughout the home, and that is the wallpaper and the wicker. The wallpaper is subtle, but it's layered with texture to avoid a completely plain canvas. And the wicker material is seen in a few decor items, such as the baskets at the entrance, the large lamp in the living room, the bull's head above the frame in the bedroom, as well as the wallpaper of the reading nook.
This wallpaper in the study is a little bit grey, a little bit masculine, and it sort of ushers you in towards the bedroom, which is a totally different grey, but it sort of like leads towards that one. The bedroom came with the bed, and the bed kind of inspired the direction into which we were going. I found the bed very masculine, being a steel bed and that. I put the paneling on the wall and we went completely dark, which gives a kind of coziness to the bedroom and also some drama. And I combine it with rust, which I find kind of like a masculine element. And I brought in the wicker that's going throughout the rest of the house in the form of the bull's head above the bed. So I brought in a bench, which is always a nice thing to have, and covered it in a rust fabric to go with all the other rust elements. The lamps are also kind of oversized, not flimsy at all, but it balances, the white shades balances the heaviness of the base and brings in a lighter element into this very dark room. So the thing I enjoy most about my job is the impact that I can have on people's lives. If you think about it like this, the houses that we live in, the spaces we inhabit, the places that we work in, it informs how you present yourself in the world out there. So if your house is a mess, things are falling apart, things are not working properly, it leaves you a little bit perturbed. But if things are working well, if you're living in beauty, if it really does something for when you go out in the world and you can present yourself better. And I feel that my small contribution to the world is people being happy.